Hello, and welcome to the CRM Zen Show, where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 308 for Friday, June 21st, 2024 from Zenatta Consulting. I'm Brett Martin, and this is Too Beta, Too Furious.
And I'm Tyler Colt, and let's get right on into the show.
I'm a little rusty, Tyler. I've been gone. Kind of messed up the intro there a little bit, but it feels
You
good
worked your
to
way
be
back around to it. I think it was good.
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
yeah, that was a
Feels
long trip.
good.
You're out for what, like about a month
Yeah,
altogether
4 weeks.
on the road?
4 weeks.
Yeah, that's
With a
too
week
long.
right wedged in the middle there for Zoholics. So
Yep.
that was a very, very, very good time. I'm sure you guys talked about it last week. You and Greg probably went through it all, and it was a good.
Yeah.
It's a good show. Fun.
Yeah,
Great,
absolutely.
great to see all of our clients. So many of our clients and all the Zoho people that were there and hang out. So that was good. But yeah, back long drive, 3,200 miles, big loop. So
Yeah, good way to
anyway.
enjoy the new car, right? You got it just in time for the trip. So
Broke it in, did it. We, our mixer was great. Everything was good. It was good. So anyway, I'm glad to be back. I'm not planning on going anywhere for a little bit. Anyway, with that,
Good night.
I'm guessing we should get right on into the news.
Let's do it.
Are you struggling to get your team trained in using Zoho effectively? Considering the hefty costs of team meetings and onboarding sessions dedicated to Zoho training, there has to be an easier way. Say hello to efficiency with our Zoho team training courses. Zoho CRM Made Easy. Become a project management pro, top-tier customer support, and maximize your marketing impact. Are you ready to equip your team? Start today at zenatta.com/training and let us lead the way.
All right, Tyler, this is always a big one. Zoho Analytics 6.0 is in beta. You are an analytics guru. What are you loving about this?
Yes, I mean, if we kind of take our time from top to bottom here, I can pick out some of the highlights. Lots of new data connectors. Of course, they're always rolling out more and more and more data connectors. A couple big ones here. I do really like Zoho Connect. I know not everybody uses Connect. It's not the most widely used app, but it's really good at what it does. And its reporting is very limited inside of the app itself. So I'm imagining people that use that are going to be really happy to be able to pull the data elsewhere. The other big one for the syncing is Amazon Seller Central, really just because integrating with that is a bit of a pain in the butt when you're doing it yourself. And so I'm imagining a scenario where you connect analytics to Amazon Seller Central, that pulls in your order data, and then you can more easily schedule like a function that will pull it from there into CRM or from there into Zoho Books or inventory. So there are some pre-built connections, but a lot of them have issues or challenges that kind of come along with them. So again, that'll be really nice to have just to be able to pull that type of data and reporting from the analytics or from the Amazon side. Couple as we go down the page here that I do like. Some of them have already rolled out. I mean, sync history has been there for a bit. Import rollback is new. So if you're doing an import, the system will actually tell you, and it's always told you if there are issues with that import. And I don't know why your images aren't showing up there. I don't know if I want to try a refresh on it. Might be useful for the YouTube viewers. But essentially with the import rollback, you'll be able to actually undo an import that you just did. So previously, if you ran an import, it would say, hey, 100 of these were imported with an issue. And you're like, darn, there's nothing you can do about it. So hopefully you pulled a backup before you did it. Just giving you a lot more insight into what's going on when you run a manual import into the system. Couple sections down, the unified metrics. This will be really nice. Unified metrics is basically like a library for all of your various formulas and calculations. These are things that do get reused a lot. And so just more visibility into them. Like I see this a lot in client accounts where they have a couple people in analytics and there are like 4 closed won formulas in there and they're all the same. Right? Because just someone opened it from a different record or a different table and they didn't see it. And so making those a bit more visible will just be nice to keep things smooth and easy. Next one, I'm really happy about this, data bucketing. This is like a core thing when it comes to data analytics and reporting. You oftentimes have a data set. They're using a perfect example here, which is like creating an age tier for your tickets, right? So like, let's say you have a ticket age and it's from 1 to 50, right? Well, you might want to report on that from like 0 to 15 as a bucket, 16 to 30 as a bucket, right? These different like groupings. And you could always do this, but what it would require was a formula field with a bunch of if statements, right? So like if greater than 0 and if less than 15, then call it 15, and those just get a little bit clunky to use over time. And so having buckets will be really good. This can even be used for like consolidating lead sources. Like let's say you have like 20 lead sources, but you want to group them into inbound and outbound as kind of like a lead source category. Like again, really common use case. Just being able to do those without formulas. I'm just thinking about people who maybe aren't as nerdy as I am and don't like playing with formulas. Now they're going to be able to do that much more easily. They also added a ton of chart types, Sankey charts, racing charts, spark lines. I haven't actually heard of that one. Geomaps, sunburst, conversion, tree maps. I'd say the big one there, honestly, is like conversion charts. The more ways that we can represent conversion, that's one of the biggest things that people use CRM for, right? Is like, how are things moving through a process? So I'd imagine some like instant usage of those. New Zia suggestions. Honestly, I don't use Zia a lot in Zoho Analytics. It's getting better and better, but I just, it can be interesting. This is a more interesting use case for it. I've tried it for forecasting and I didn't think it was very good, but maybe suggesting different types of charts, right? Because sometimes like if you have certain data and parameters, a stacked bar is going to look better than something else. So it might be able to give you some insights or even just different things to try, right? And it might say, hey, take a look at this as a stacked bar. You can try it and go, I hate that. No big deal. Switch back, right? But it might suggest one at some point that you do like. And now you get a little bit more value out of your dashboard. More filters, a global filter for dashboards. This, again, it seems minor, but it's a major change. So inside of a dashboard, you can have user filters, basically where someone can open it and toggle a filter themselves. In a dashboard, you can also have tabs, right? So you can think about, Brett, like my mission control dashboard. I have like production, marketing, like all these different tabs. And all the user filters were specific per tab. So like, let's say I want to pull a filter of like last 3 months and then just click through the tabs real quick to see what's been going on for the last 3 months. I have to reselect that date filter each time when I switch tabs. Now I won't have to, right? I can just make one timeline filter, apply it to all of them, or like one user filter and apply it to all of them. So those will be really nice. We can kind of rapid fire around some of these data analytics tools. So anomaly detection, this is just a quick little flag if something is bigger or smaller than normal. Again, that can be kind of nice. Cluster analysis, some of these they're kind of getting into some lightweight ML, like kind of some machine learning things here. So cluster analysis is basically using, I won't call it an AI, we'll call it machine learning because that's what it is. But it's essentially creating groupings that might not be obvious in your data. The one that they're showing here, the groupings are pretty obvious as like a simple example. But when you have like more multivariate reporting, it's not always clear to see that like, oh, the patterns of Brett are actually similar to the patterns of Tyler, but I might have not picked up on that without looking at it. A lot of times you use that for like customer analysis, right? Like show me customers that are similar to one another. More alerts around thresholds and anomalies, ZiaBot for Microsoft Teams. And then really kind of the big one is they're rolling out more and more machine learning tools. So AutoML is basically like a platform that they're rolling out. It's not a particular tool, but it's an umbrella, right? And really what we're looking to do here is set like the data we're working on, how we want it classified, and then kind of let the system run with it, right? They're also adding Code Studio, which is kind of like a Python-based way to interact with machine learning models. That's going to be really cool. We don't spend a ton of time doing that, but that'll just make things a lot more robust. Next big section is all around data storytelling. So BI Fabric, just ways to essentially embed analytics into other apps, insights from Zia, multilingual support, exporting dashboards and charts as PowerPoints. I mean, there's just a lot here. We definitely recommend kind of going through this update if you are a Zoho Analytics user. There's a whole, I think 2 more categories of updates here. I don't know if we want to go fully down the rabbit hole, but well worth checking out the newsletter where all of this news will be updated for you, because there's a lot here. Just an absolute ton of data that is going to be surfaced for you.
Yep. So it's currently not going to be available in Zoho 1 or CRM Plus. So we're not sure when that will roll out. But so if you've got
it's in beta
one of those
right now, so keep in mind this is beta.
Right.
Oh, the one last little sneaky thing that's interesting here is custom connectors right here on the page. They kind of snuck it in as a last little thing. This is basically marketplace for Zoho Analytics. So now people can build their own connectors, get them audited by Zoho, and publish them into Zoho Analytics. That's phenomenal. I love to see that. That just means a bunch more connectors will be supported. And Zoho doesn't have to do all of them themselves, because that's the big bandwidth limiter, right? Is they only have so many people. They got to make a priority list and work top to bottom. So people being able to create their own connectors and publish them will be really cool to see.
Very good. Major update. Very, very cool. So hopefully this will come out. What do you think? Probably 3-4 months it'll roll out to everybody.
Probably. They'll take their time in the beta. I mean, there's a lot here to get feedback on as far as a beta is concerned. So I would say they'll probably take their time, make sure all this stuff gets buttoned up nicely before they roll it out to everybody.
All right, and moving on, if all stories take as long as that one, this will be a 5-hour show. So this is kind of interesting. So in Zoho Desk, they recently released an early access to getting 2 years of data analytics in your reports. So these are Zoho Desk reports. It wasn't going back that far. I think it was only going back a year. Now it's 2 years. They put that on hold because basically they're having technical challenges with the scalability of it, meaning it evidently is using up a lot of data bandwidth and a lot of compute is my guess in running it.
Yep.
So they've temporarily suspended all early access to it. They may even, it's hard to say. I think they maybe have paused it for anybody trying to use it. But do not fear. Before the show, just to kind of verify, you went into our Zoho Desk, pulled it into Zoho Analytics, and in Zoho Analytics, you're able to actually look at all of the data in there as well.
You can do whatever you want. Yeah. I mean, it went all the way back. We started using Desk in 2019, and I could go all the way back to that. If you're on Zoho 1 and you're bumping into this limit, just pull it into Zoho Analytics. It's really the same reporting suite at this point because they kind of have embedded analytics into Zoho Desk. So you should be good to go once you just sync it across the pond.
But they must be doing something different in their reports. And I guess if you're just purchased Desk and you don't have analytics, you've got those issues. So anyway, so stay tuned on that. And moving along, a new product, Zoho Apptics, has been released by Zoho. This is very niche. Basically, if you have a mobile application, Zoho has released a SDK that allows you to embed Zoho Apptics into it, and it basically will give you analytic data on your mobile app usage, all those kind of things. So it is again very very niche. I mean, Zoho's got, what's the other app Zoho has where you can embed all of the Office suite into your various applications?
I forget what it's called. Office Integrator? Is it called Office Integrator?
Yes. I think that's it. I think that's it. So yeah.
This is a cool one. I mean, this will be interesting to see. That it seems like from the write-up, they're positioning this as like a privacy-first app data tool. I know that a concern with a lot of those tools is like they're on everybody's phone that's using your app and they're gathering a bunch of data, right? So I think Zoho is trying to kind of lend their privacy-first mantra to this tool. So it'll be interesting to see. Probably not something we're going to use a lot. I would love, Zoho, if you're listening, if this is possible in any way, to roll out a tool like this for just the Zoho One apps themselves. We do get that ask from clients that it would be great to see more granular audit data about like what people are doing. Now you
Yeah.
can go into the auto log, you can pull some of this stuff from specific apps, but a lot of users are cross-functional and they're touching CRM, projects, desk, campaigns, whatever it may be. So it'd be great to see something like this just for the Zoho apps themselves. I know that that would make a lot of customers, especially larger enterprises that kind of need that level of visibility. It would be great to, kind of get some dual functionality out of this.
All right. And then moving along, yet another beta. So DataPrep is now 2.0 has gone into beta as well. And if you're not familiar, DataPrep is a tool that allows you to pull in data from a spreadsheet or whatever other source and clean it up, prep it up before you're going to go ahead and import it. They've got some new stuff that they've come out with this now. You now have a visual pipeline builder.
Really cool.
So helping you clean up your data that way. Yeah, very, very cool. I know you've used it quite a bit and, you've had some issues with it, but it seems to be getting better. Be curious to try this one out when it comes.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, like the data pipeline visualization that they've built is really cool because it's exactly how this type of tool will be used, right? It's like, okay, we're going to get some data from here. We're going to get some data from here. We're going to pipe them into this join table, and then we're going to pipe that into CRM or whatever it may be. What I'll also highlight that I really like, and I want to give Zoho a little shout out for this because I see them doing it in more apps. They're giving you pipeline templates that are kind of pre-built with this. So a couple examples are like Microsoft Dynamics to Zoho CRM, Sugar CRM to Zoho CRM, a deduplication pipeline, right? That kind of like loops and dedupes the data. I really like that. I noticed like in the CRM for Everyone video, they actually have custom module templates now. When I was going in to create a team module, and like, I just think for a lot of users, giving you something to look at and edit is a lot easier than starting on a blank page. So even like, hey, use that Sugar CRM to Zoho CRM one and swap the data source, right? That's fair game, but it could still get you a lot of those steps just pre-built for you. So I really like that. I like to see them adding just more templates, right, to more places. It makes the applications a lot easier to use.
Yeah, and I think when you, anytime you give them templates like that, I see it in Creator all the time. You're talking to clients and they've actually built their own Creator app. But really what they did is they went to the store and they found a template of a Creator app. See it with inventory a lot because there's a basic inventory one there. Then they customized it to their own, but they probably wouldn't have got anywhere near that level if they didn't have something to start with. So it's the same thing with what they're doing with Canvas. I think Canvas has got some super nice templates now. They've really, really improved that. Yeah. So there's DataPrep. Fantastic. We'll give it another try. See how it goes. And moving right along. All right. You now have Canvas record form in Zoho CRM. So basically, when you are now creating a new record in Zoho CRM, and you can now set up a Canvas view for the creation of that record. Normally, you would just be in the regular view when you're doing so. You recently did a whole video on Canvas again. It's really come a long way. It seems like a lot of its issues have been solved. So,
a lot of it is working a lot better. Canvas form view is essentially for the creation of a record. The kind of nice thing is you don't need to include everything that's in your Canvas in the creation step, right? So like for a lot of people, notes would be up at the top in a Canvas view. But when you're creating a record, you probably don't have any notes yet, right? So you don't have to have every single thing surfaced in the creation view. So it's pretty slick. I mean, a lot of the times we try to build systems where people aren't manually creating a lot of records, right? But in some cases, you just have to. So it'll be pretty slick. We're still kind of waiting on that like edit page view, right? Where when you actually do a full edit, it stays in Canvas view. But I know they're kind of continuously improving this tool. And this is a nice step in that direction.
Spent a lot of time on this. I mean, we're 5 years since this launched, right?
Yep.
And so it's been a slow burn, but getting there. So fun to play with. All right, and moving on with the news, you now have a bunch of new system fields in Zoho Contracts. If you're unfamiliar with Zoho Contracts, it basically is a tool that allows you to go ahead and customize all your contracts, what sections go in the contract. You can do various things with it. It integrates with the CRM very nicely, and you can create and build custom contracts based upon that. They have speaking of templates, so many templates in there. It is just loaded up. So evidently they have a rather large property management company that needed some stuff done. And they have now built a bunch of system fields that seem to be very, very specific to that. It seems that way to me anyway by looking at this. We don't use contracts too much. We find that just doing a really nice mail merge out of the CRM kind of gets it done. It's funny, I was talking to someone yesterday who was just banging their head against the wall with this because the formatting and the templating and some other stuff. And I'm like, well, we could just do it this way. And, it's also images still are not supported inside of contracts because they're kind of rather, and yes, while generally a contract wouldn't have an image in it, oftentimes people are using
a lot of people are kind of doing like a proposal, right? Like a signable proposal, right? And that just doesn't work in here. And, what we found as well, and I'm sure that's kind of what you were talking to that prospect about, is that in mail merge, because you have all of the conditional statements, you can even have the legalese of your proposal be dynamic in a mail merge document, which is like one of the bigger selling points for Zoho Contracts. So it's like, oh, we're selling financial services on this deal, so the page with the financial service disclosure is included, where if we weren't selling that, it wouldn't be. So you can really make a super dynamic contract / proposal in mail merge. So yeah, you're right. We kind of always assume we're going to go that way. I think where contracts comes in is like maybe larger companies that have like a dedicated legal team, right? Because there's a lot of approval steps and, they've got unique user permissions for legal team users. So I think that's the use case. Is just for a lot of our clients, that's not a requirement at the end of the day.
And evidently property management companies. There must be a nice use case there as well. All right, and moving on, a busy news week. This is a big one. Zoho WorkDrive has expanded enterprise capabilities with workflow automation, data loss prevention, and more. So really, in WorkDrive, what is it, OneDrive if you're in Microsoft, is that what they call it? Google Drive. It's basically, that's their place where all of your files live. We've always raved about WorkDrive, the metadata, the searching, the tagging, all of that has been super, super nice. And now they've just put in additional security features and workflow features. So, you can now, if you're in medical, you've got a whole data loss prevention security that they put in. The example they're showing here is like this particular document has a social security number. It's got some medical insurance claim numbers. It's got some very private information. It's going to be flagged that way. It's going to make it secure. It's going to lock down the document. Very nice little features there. The one I really liked was the automated workflows. So you have a document, it's going through a very process. Once that document's approved, the example showing here is it's now moved into the particular folder because it maybe that's being shared with the client. It's visible at that point in time, but you want to keep it out of that folder until it's done. So some super nice, super nice features that way as well. And they're going to improve the integration with Zoho CRM. Right now, it's not great.
Nebulous.
So I think
nebulous. There's a plugin that's on Marketplace, and it wasn't developed by Zoho, but it's the one everyone uses. So you install that, and then you augment it with the custom function that kind of fixes the issue with it. I mean, I've been waiting a long time for this. It'd be great to see this come live because it's a big issue and people really don't want to use the attachments in CRM. The storage costs there are not very good. So this will be a really useful tool once it actually rolls out completely.
Yeah. Very, very cool. So anyway, there's a lot in store because they're going to be back with WorkDrive 5.0. Ooh, this is not that announcement. So any day now, WorkDrive 5.0. Didn't we just have WorkDrive 4.0 like a month ago? Seems that way to
So
me. I don't know.
who knows?
Time anyway, 5.0 is coming out. So very cool stuff. This was a big thing that they talked about at Zoholics as well. So going to be a nice update. All right, and moving along with I believe it's our last news story. You can now mandate assessments in Zoho Recruit's candidate application form. So Zoho Recruit, we love it. It's a great application. You can do a lot with it. So you basically can post an online application. They can fill it out, but you can always have these assessments, but the assessments weren't mandatory. And so now you can actually have an applicant go through them before they can submit their application. They actually have to take the assessment. So the title of this post says it all. So very nice.
Yeah, this is a great one. We're going to turn this on because we do assessments. Not everyone sees it, and then it has to follow up via email and have them do it later, So just being able to require that as part of the application is what a lot of people are going to want to do anyways. So nice update. I'll make sure Josh and Greg know about this because they'll be very happy.
Because you get a candidate. So like we recently had a YouTube comment where someone was watching one of our CRM videos and the comment was, "What is CRM?" So that would flag a candidate as probably not appropriate for what we got going on here, Anyway, with that, Tyler, let's get to our implementation of the week.
All right. So implementation this week comes from Colton and Renato on the Zenatta team. And this is essentially an automated function to associate leads with a conference database that we've created. So essentially what happens here, this client will go to a conference. At the tail end of that conference, they will get a spreadsheet of all the leads who opted in to follow up from them that had attended this conference. And they want to make sure that they are importing those leads to create or update all the existing ones, and then making sure that all those leads are linked and attributed to a conference module that we had created for them. The reason that the attribution is so important is that you want to know which conferences are worth going to, right? So like if you go to 4 a year, 2 of them, you might be getting great leads where a large percent of them close. The other 2, you might be getting nothing. Right. And if you don't track it, you're never going to know that. And you're going to keep paying to go to these conferences that might not be impacting your revenue at all. And so what we did, essentially create that custom module for conferences, created a linking module for leads/conferences, because one lead could go to many conferences and one conference will have many leads in attendance. So you kind of need that module in the middle to link to both sides as, kind of what a nerd would call a linking module. Then what we did is standardized an import process where when the client receives that file of leads, they'll make sure that there's a column in that file that has the name of the conference, and that name will need to match the conference data that we already have inside of CRM. Then they can take that file, import it into leads, and basically do like either a create and or update import to make sure that like if they're already in there, they're getting new data. If they don't exist, we're creating them. We added a little field where they put the name of that conference as part of the import process. Then that import will trigger a workflow that runs on either create or update to the leads when that particular field is filled in or updated. That will run a little script that will essentially search the conferences module for a match on that name. And when it finds one, it will create a record in that linking module that will connect the lead to that conference. So the nice thing here is just that like over time, you might interact with a lead at multiple conferences. And this in the background will basically just be creating that running list of all the various attendances of that lead to these various, trade shows or conferences where you interact with them.
So how does this benefit from just using the default campaigns module in CRM and creating a conference in the campaigns module, and then you go in and you associate that campaign with the lead? I guess it's a one-time thing, right? You're associating that lead with
one-time thing, and I think a lot of people stray away from the campaigns module because it gets so cluttered if you're also using Zoho campaigns, right? And this client in particular does a lot of campaigning. And so you could do a similar thing here. Sometimes the API for the campaigns module is a little more restrictive as well. And like in this case, a lot of the reporting that they wanted was kind of non-standard. So like the native campaigns module looks at the deal, but in this case, like the long-term revenue from a client is not all represented in a deal record. There are kind of some other revenue objects that would need to be calculated as well. So they were going to do their ROI reporting and analytics anyways, right? So we didn't feel locked into needing to use the default campaigns module with some of its drawbacks.
Very nice. Very nice. Nice job, Colton and Renato. And with that, Tyler, let's head over to Club Zenatta and check out our code share of the week. All right. It's back to back Renato. So Renato has actually put in a code share this week using Zoho Flow to create a CRM record from Zoho Sign. So my guess is the use case of this is you have someone have a signed document and maybe they're not in the CRM, or when they sign something, you want to create something different in the CRM, maybe a linking module, maybe you're putting it there. So you're having a list of all the documents they've signed. And 100%. So, yep, he's giving you a very nice way of doing this. It's actually a great implementation too. I mean, I love this because you can attach it as an attachment in the record, but then you got to go and look through, and this really kind of cleans things up. So
yeah, a lot of the times like we'll create a module, like a signed documents module, right? And then we're kind of finding the contact and writing the data to there with like a link to the document in Zoho Sign in case they need it. So we do this type of implementation all the time. It's super useful for really anyone sending documents.
Yeah, very, very slick. Very slick. And if you don't know, Club Z is our online community, and we would love to have you come over and participate. We have our basically members asking questions. It's constant. 3 hours ago, basically people are constantly asking questions. Other members are answering those questions. We're jumping in and answering those questions. We've got our general discussion. We've got code share. We have things we've noticed. So, oftentimes Zoho doesn't actually announce anything. So, they don't put out a press release. They don't do anything. You're just happen to be working through and you're like, that looks different. My favorite is when they rearrange the settings page and you go there and your mouse normally goes to one spot, but it's not there anymore. You kind of got to look around for it. But anyway, that's where things we noticed fits in. And then, of course, all the Zoho news as we build our doc for the week, we track it in here. So if you want to get ahead of it, you can do there. Azaz is not dead. We're just basically saving up and collecting questions and kind of doing the best questions for Azaz. So if you want to ask an Azaz question, you can go ahead and you can do that as well. All sorts of things, and that is all over at club.zenatta.com. We would love it if you would join. So head on over and participate in the community. And, we used to do announcements all the time, Tyler, but we haven't done it in a while. But we do have a quick announcement this week as well, and that is that we have launched the Zoho campaigns team training. It's part of our marketing suite of team training. We'll be putting marketing automation in there and some other things as well. But right now, campaigns is part of this. And we've got a sale going on. So you can get I think it's $500 for your entire team to get trained on this rather than $1,500. That sale ends on Monday. So you've got the weekend to jump on board and go ahead and get your team training. It's lifetime. Everyone in your company, you buy it once, you hire somebody, you say, take this course. We're constantly updating it. And we're doing the same, of course, with all of our team training. So whether it's CRM or projects or desk, they're constantly being updated. CRM, of course, is going to have to undergo a major overhaul now with CRM for everyone. Have we even started on that? That's going to be
not quite yet. It's going to be a big one.
That's gonna be a big one as well. So yeah, head on over to Zenatta.com, click on team training, and it's right there at the top. And you can see all of our various team training applications and go ahead and sign up now while the discount is available. And with that, let's head over to Zenatta and see what's new over there. Well, Tyler, you had to feel good about this. This was our monthly, detailed, in-depth product overview. You didn't have to do it. I didn't have to do it. We didn't do it. Wayne did this one, and he has gone and done a deep dive of Zoho Sites 2.0, which was released a few months ago. A lot of enhancements and a lot of changes. If you are using Zoho Sites, you can go ahead and click on this, watch the video, or if you just want to read about it, we've kind of got a full breakdown of everything that's happening inside of Zoho Sites. So worth taking a look at there. Nice application. It's very lightweight. We've talked about it before.
You know, of course, is going to be a little more limited than something like WordPress. There are some pieces of functionality though in here that are really interesting to me as they continue to mature. Like I saw an implementation of Zoho Sites a while back where a visitor lands on a page, a script runs, and it pulls a bunch of like custom module data from CRM of like property listings, wraps them up and formats them and puts them on that page. Now, I saw a very early version of that, so like load times were not super great, but like that's something that gets improved, right? Like that's not a permanent problem. So I'm really interested in that over time. I mean, I think there are going to be use cases of like, imagine maybe you have your full website on Woo or on WordPress, but you have like a properties subdomain, right? That they can click into and then it does that little embed. Like I could see some use case there of just being able to easily pull CRM data, right? And wrap it up and show it on a web page. So I think that'll be interesting. They're on to something there, right? And I think that will be a growing use case for them if they can kind of continue to add more supporting functionality to Zoho Sites.
One of the things that I remember, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but that with Canvas Builder, you were able to actually publicly share a page from CRM.
Yeah, I think they did put that out a little while back.
Right. And so that was kind of cool. We talk about real estate, for example. You know, a person could have a listings module and then get that link. They've custom formatted it and then present it that way. And I imagine the embed here would be pretty interesting as well. But Zoho Sites making a lot of progress. Really inexpensive application. And so check out the full product overview. You can go to Zenatta.com and check it out there, or you can just go ahead and head over to our YouTube channel. And with that, let's go check out our tip of the week. All right. So Tyler, you did it again. Zoho CRM for Everyone tutorial and demo. This was kind of a big deal at Zoholics as this was rolled out. You had a bunch of people that kind of went into beta. They turned it on. They're like, I need to turn it off. Yeah. And then, then I want to turn it back on again. There are some significant changes here, and change is always hard for everyone. But you kind of did a nice dive into it. And so what are your thoughts, bud?
I mean, overall, it's really cool. There are some things that I am a bit concerned about. Like when you're looking at the list view, actually perfect timing here. If you're watching us on YouTube, you'll see like from that menu on the left-hand side, right? You can essentially pause here for a sec for our YouTube viewers. So this is the one thing that's cool, but it's also concerning to me is this little pop-out menu. So now, while I'm looking at a list of leads, over on the left will be like my list of modules. I can hover over those, and from right here, right in the front side of the application, I could add a layout rule. I could add a workflow. I could add an assignment rule, right? And that's not a big deal if your profiles and permissions are super dialed in to remove those from a bunch of users. The area I have some concern about is that the two default profiles of CRM are administrator and standard. And as we all know, standard is basically administrator, right? It has the vast majority of the same permissions, including adding workflows, adding layout rules, right? So when we work with the client, we'll generally go in and create what we call basic as a profile, which basically has access to module data, but like none of the configuration. So I could see that biting a couple people as a sales rep comes in and go, hey, what's a workflow? And they set one up and there's an error and it's repeatedly sending emails and things like that. So I think I probably will make another video of like how to prepare for this, some kind of tips and best practices to make sure that like you have everything locked down, to make sure that this isn't going to cause an issue. But I do really like what they're doing with the team spaces. It's kind of like they're taking tab groups and making them like a proper piece of functionality rather than just being like a filter of the modules. Like you'll essentially be able to create team spaces for like sales, support, whatever it may be. And then within those team spaces, you have a full extra set of permission controls that you can roll out, right? So like it gets a lot more granular as you really dive into the back end. Last thing, if you're watching us on YouTube, if you go forward just a little bit, when you're adding modules to a team space, you can make folders of modules. So like here we can see I've created a customers folder and I've put accounts, contacts, and deals. I've made a transactions folder where I put quotes, sales orders, and invoices. So being able to group your modules with some type of hierarchy, I think is really nice just for like organization's sake. So yeah, now you can see on the left, you've got like customers, activities, transaction, and marketing folders where each of those actually have the modules within them. I do really like that. I think from like a training perspective and an onboarding, it makes things a lot cleaner. So overall, I think it's good. But I think like if you're listening and you're the Zoho admin for your org, go ahead and make sure your profiles are locked down before this rolls out. Because what you don't want to have happen is people going in and making fields required, adding workflows, adding layout rules. Like those are things that are going to need to go through an approval process. That you should very likely be tightening up right now before this actually goes live.
I saw it was coming out. Well, we're in beta. We had access to it. We rolled it back. I'm not getting bothered by it all the time now. So I don't know if it's been, because it was every single time. So I think they're maybe slow rolling this a little bit. I do think it's a nice improvement. Like you said, I think the security profiles are going to be the big deal here.
You just gotta get that buttoned up. So yeah, expect everyone probably a quick little video, not a 30-minute deep dive, but 10-minute video on what I would do to prepare for this, because it's a lot of positive changes, but you got to make sure you're locked down properly before all that stuff gets brought to the front of the UI, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, and as I watched this video, you were very animated on this video. You had there's some passion going on as you were doing this one. So a lot happening there.
It's a fun one to record.
And if you don't know, please, you can head over to our YouTube channel, and that is where we keep all of our videos. So we've got the Tyler's new one, which, by the way, just one day, evidently this is a big deal because you said this number is a little delayed. It's well over 900 people have watched it in just one day. So anyway, all of our videos drop here. So be sure to check them out. And you can also head over to Zenatta.com, click on our resource library, click on a specific app, categorize them all over there as well. So do like and subscribe. We would love it. It looks like next week we'll hit our 18,000 subscribers. Fantastic.
Yeah.
673 videos. They just keep coming. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that, let's wrap up the show, buddy. Another one is in the bag.
Another week, another show. Busy week, and looking forward to keeping things rolling. It's crazy. We're almost halfway through the year. It seems like we blinked twice, and here we are.
I know. It's crazy. I was talking to someone the other day, and they said, when are you going to do it? And I said, next June. And they said, that's a year. And I said, well, I'll be here tomorrow, evidently. At the rate things are moving, I don't know. Well, hope everybody enjoyed the show. We look forward to doing this for you every week. As always, if you would like to get a hold of Tyler, myself, Josh, anybody over here at Zenatta.com, head over to Zenatta, click on a meeting, and we would love to talk to you.
And on the website is also where you'll find complete episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories we discussed today. If you want that news delivered to your inbox every Monday morning, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. And last but not least, we always appreciate when you like and subscribe here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday.
Take care, everybody. Hey, and happy summer solstice as well. Actually, I heard it happened on the 20th, not the 21st this year. Wow. last
Well, my
time
mom's
was like
birthday is on the
1790.
21st, and it's a family joke that it's the longest day of the year. She hates that joke.